So let me welcome you on behalf of the Raj Yoga Meditation Center to this program, Nonviolence Begins With Me. We, the Raj Yoga Center, are very pleased to be associated with this program. We are doing it in support of the Living Waters initiative of Nonviolence Begins With Me. This is the second program we are having, and we have also attended some of the programs that the Living Waters organization have held across the country. And Brahma Kumaris is always pleased to be associated with any group or organization who supports human development, human dignity, and any type of human initiative that brings peace and non-violence in the world. We have collaborated with many organizations over the years. We feel especially happy with this one because non-violence is something that is so close to our hearts and something that we practice ourselves. So at this time, I would like to introduce to you someone from the Living Waters. She herself is very concerned, like the rest of us, a concerned citizen, with a wave of violence that is happening in the country. She's a chartered accountant by profession. She has been an active member with NGOs in Trinidad and the accounting institutes both in Trinidad and in the UK. She believes that this movement of non-violence begins with me and will bring about positive change for herself and for all of us. So I am very pleased to introduce Susie Moore.
Everybody, Om Shanti, and welcome to everybody coming here. But my question to you is, why did you come here? Non-violence begins with me. So did you come here because you wanted to hear the speakers talk about how they're dealing with violence in society? Or did you come here because you thought, let me deal with the violence in myself? So you're thinking this lady is absolutely crazy because I'm not violent. Me personally, I'm not violent. I don't kill anybody, I don't rob anybody. But so I'm coming here because I want to find out how to deal with them, as the Trinidadians say. But our movement wants to encourage you to deal with you, to deal with the violence that is in you. And I can attest to that because I'm a person, I get angry. If I don't get my way, I get a little silent treatment. The whole house knows that, she vexed today, so don't talk to her. And what this movement has encouraged me to look at is that right? Why am I creating that kind of atmosphere at home? I used to go through a yellow light at the, no big thing, press the X and I'm gone because I have somewhere to go. But who am I putting at risk? I'm putting myself at risk, I'm putting other people at risk. And is that right? That, we believe, is violence, and that's why we want to encourage everyone to look at themselves to see what areas in our lives we are violent. So we produced this card, and I like to say that the movement of non-violence begins with me is, besides Living Water, it is a non-religious and a non-political group. So I'm very pleased that the Raj Yoga has joined with us, and we also have a member of the Satya Sai Baba movement, Dr. Tiwari, here as well, who joined us in an interfaith service that we had about 3 months ago. So we produced this card, and there are 10 actions on this card. And when you go home tonight and you're thinking about this wonderful couple of hours we're going to share, I want you to challenge yourself. Does any of these apply to me? And if they do, what am I going to do about it? So let's stop pointing fingers at everybody else, and let's start looking at ourselves to see how we are contributing to the violence in Trinidad and Tobago. And when we meet again at the end of the year, you're going to say to me, Susie, I looked at number 6, and I'm now visiting someone who is sick and in need of my company. So that's your challenge. Okay, so non-violence begins with me, and it surely did, and non-violence is going to begin with you. Okay, so I hand you over to our moderator, or I hand you over to Sister Kay, I think. Which one do I hand? Well, right.
Thank you very much, Susie. It was a very peaceful handover, not bad. So now, we are also pleased to have with us a moderator who is very experienced. He has been connected to the Raj Yoga Center for many years. He is a media trainer, a public speaking coach, independent radio producer, presenter, 37 years in broadcasting. I think one of the first programs I know that he was involved in was called Discover Yourself, Transform Your World. A 5-minute program that ran in the radio for several years, and in fact went to many other countries in the Caribbean, and from which he produced a few books. He is a lecturer who has conducted workshops throughout the Caribbean, the UK and India. His topics have included broadcast journalism, public speaking, presentation skills, interpersonal communication, and stress management. He has written daily and weekly columns in a number of Caribbean newspapers and has co-authored 4 books on personal development. He's still heard every day in Trinidad and Tobago with Motivation Minute, Music Radio 97, for those who listen to that, Music Radio 97. So we are really very pleased and we feel very honored to have Mr. King with us, and I will now hand over, non-violently, to Mr. Gabriel King to take the program forward.
Thank you very much, Vijay. Good evening, everyone. Non-violence begins with me and all of us. It is my privilege to introduce the panel who will be coming up on the stage. No particular order. Firstly, Marina Torres. Marina is a child development and education specialist. She holds a master's degree in education and human development. Marina has been in practice almost 30 years, providing services to children and adolescents and their parents and caregivers, with particular focus on developmental learning, behavioral development, parenting and counseling issues. She's also done extensive work for various employee assistance programs, and she also conducts seminars and motivational talks to adolescents, young adults, and group leaders of religious and secular youth groups. She's written articles for newspapers and developed parenting programs. Marina has been a part-time lecturer in the Bachelor of Education Early Childhood Care and Education program at the University of the West Indies. She was doing that for nearly 25 years. She's also a registered member of the USA National Association for Social Psychologists. Marina Torres. Next, I'd like to welcome Wesley Gibbings. Wesley has been a print and broadcast journalist and media trainer for over 30 years. He's a columnist and feature writer for the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian and contributes to several news agencies in the Caribbean and around the world. He has authored numerous papers on the media and journalism and is a campaigner for press freedom in the Caribbean and internationally. He is president and is also the founder of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, and he's sitting now, but he also sits on the council of the International Freedom of Expression Exchange and was a member of the inaugural steering committee of the Global Forum for Media Development. These people have got me out of breath, really. Wesley is a former journalism lecturer at the Caribbean Institute for Media and Communications at UWI Jamaica, and has co-authored and edited journalism training manuals on the environment and elections. And that's just the beginning, but that's all I'm going to tell you right now. And last, but of course by no means least, I have to introduce, aren't you going to applaud Wesley? I mean, after me speaking all of that talk, I mean, you have to give him some applause. I'd like to introduce, please, Sister Hamlata. I'd like to welcome her to the stage. Sister Hamlata is a medical doctor by training. She is the administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris in the Caribbean, and she came to Trinidad about 40 years ago. She has widely traveled representing the Brahma Kumaris in many fora, and has been an advocate of non-violence for many decades. She's also the recipient of the Trinidad and Tobago National Award for the Development of Women in Gold for community service, and she has not only been the steerer or the guide for many students of Raja in the Caribbean, but she also has been of personal benefit to a number of individuals in the professional world, and has, from my understanding, inspired many people in different professions. And introducing these three people, it suddenly occurred to me today that I've actually known them. If I add up the years that I've known all of these people, it comes to 88 years.
Yeah.
Collectively, I've known these three individuals. Meaning 37 years, Sister Hannah. Not 88 years, I mean, yes, obviously. So, I'm going to sit on this chair, but what I want to say very quickly is that this is a panel discussion, meaning the four people sitting on this stage, there's only four people, and that's simply because there's limited space on the stage. But everyone sitting in this room is part of the discussion. And as non-violence begins with me, means with you, that it's about what you can do, not what these people are suggesting, but what you are going to do. So the sooner you begin to talk and get involved, the better it is for all of us. And I believe there's a camera there that will be recording anybody who doesn't speak. So I'd like to begin with, as we've had the introductions, with Marina, because in the work, in the 25, 26 plus years I've known Marina, I have seen young people with serious issues, familial issues, issues at school, with violence and other challenges, who have taken sessions with Marina, counseling and otherwise, and who have been helped how to cope with their own challenges. And so I'd like to invite Marina to share with us the process of identifying perhaps some of those challenges that young people and adults face in dealing with issues of violence, and how it can be turned inwards to realize that we all have this personal responsibility to be able to deal with violence within ourselves.
Thank you, Garfield. Good afternoon, everyone. So, as Garfield said, I see young people, but from as young as infancy upwards to young adult and their parents. And the children often may come in because of school-related difficulties, more likely academic. And as we begin to see them, we realize that there is more than academic issues, that the academic issues is where it is showing up, but the issues may be more familial or emotional or organic. Organic meaning that through the pregnancy, through the family life, babies who are born to this family may have been exposed to trauma or difficulties in the womb, and it begins to show up in their behavior as they're developing. An example may be a mother who may have a form of illness, and that illness is impacting her body. And because it's impacting her body, it affects the baby. So we sometimes take for granted what illness may be. A mother who has severe nausea, that is a form of trauma for the baby, because if she's not able to eat and keep food down, and she's throwing up, that is very stressful for her body, and that impacts on the baby's central nervous system. So that those children may come in for behavioral problems, attention problems, or mood problems. So being very quiet in the classroom, not interacting, not being able to interact with their peers, or not interacting with their peers, or may have difficulty with people getting too close to them, sitting near to them, and may push them away or hit them, or may be very active. We may say the child is hyperactive. And the research has shown that the stress in the womb causes the brain to produce certain kinds of hormones which cross the placenta and then affect the baby. And so the child may be a very quiet baby, or maybe a baby with what we call in Trinidad a lot of colic, or be a baby that doesn't sleep well in the night. And that's because the central nervous system is damaged. We would provide medicines, we feed them more food, anything to fill their stomach to get them to sleep, and not recognize that the child actually has experienced trauma. There's enough research to tell us that, but in Trinidad we don't necessarily believe it. But when parents bring their children and begin to look at the history, they can relate to it because they have experienced it. So it's trauma for the mother as well, who's raising the baby. And if she doesn't have good support, then that trauma is in a circle for the child. The child goes to school, and teachers don't know how to interact with the child. May call the child a bully because they don't want people sitting next to them. May say the child is selfish because they have trouble sharing, when really and truly the child itself is affected organically. So what we try to do, regardless of the history that comes in, is to try to know, I try to get to know the child. So the younger they are, we play with them. And we talk to them, and we try to get them to express themselves. And even if with children who don't have language, who may be behind in their speech and language, the use of play helps them. So gentle play, encouragement, support, helping them to manage their movement. So some children may be very active, so can barely stay on their chair for 5 seconds. We just help them to fix the chair back, help them to get into a routine, and we try to get a sense of what their needs are, and then refer them to the specialist who can help them if what they need is beyond my ability. So the whole purpose is, who am I as a person? Each child that comes in, regardless of the issue, is to help them to understand, who am I as a person? What makes me happy? We do talk about feelings. What makes me happy? What makes me sad? Who do I like to give me hugs? Who do I like not to give me hugs? Why don't I like people to give me hugs? To help them to understand their personal boundaries, to help them to understand how they feel about themselves. And one of the things we also teach is empathy, being able to put themselves in other people's shoes. How do you think other people feel? There's a lovely story I share with all children, and it's based on a book that we all born with a special bucket. And that special bucket is where we keep all our feelings. So when people smile, when we're babies and they smile and they feed us and they take care of us, it fills our bucket. When we smile back, it fills their bucket. So how do we, as we get older, fill our buckets? And very often, if we are not in healthy relationships, we fill our buckets any way we can. If it means taking what other people have, if it means hurting them if they hurt us, and those people are called bucket stealers. They steal from your bucket to fill theirs. I'm sure we can relate to that. We know people who steal from our buckets every day. And we can either decide to steal from their bucket to feel better, or we can decide to do them a kindness. So in my work, I try to teach children how they can fill their buckets by doing things that are nice to people. But before they can learn that, they have to learn to do things for themselves. So I teach self-compassion, things that they can do to make themselves feel good. Because you can't be nice to people if you don't know how to make yourself feel good. So we teach them healthy ways to do that.
Okay, so I guess I can stop there now.
Yeah, that's a good place to stop. About the buckets. I'm going to make a comment here, and I know it's going to sound tongue-in-cheek, but you know that song, "There's a Hole in My Bucket."
Yes.
Because no, I mean, I seriously thought of that, because the reality is that many of us think that we're filling ourselves, but there's something leaking out all the time, and we don't realize that, wait a minute, how come I'm doing all of this and I'm still empty?
Yeah.
Because we don't realize that stuff is leaking out. So when we're trying to be non-violent, it's as if we can't, because we're not full enough in ourselves. As you said, that you need that compassion for yourself. Is there anyone who wants to ask a question or make a comment on what Marina has presented from her experience? Please go ahead. What works best for you?
Yeah.
What works best for you?
I'm glad that you
Here's a mic here.
I'm glad you spoke about this started from the womb of the mother, because in ancient times, mothers were asked when they were pregnant to read beautiful stories from the scriptures to the baby in the womb, play with the spiritual music, and also eat pure food, And I think that's very important, because as a doctor, lots of my patients who I see who are pregnant, I tell them they shouldn't go to FEX. We have loud music, Of course, stay from alcohol and all the other things they shouldn't be taking. Eat pure food. And and try to do things like meditation and listen to good music, So I think it's very interesting. It really starts all from the womb.
It does. I remember my great aunt, who was our family midwife, who delivered most of us, always said that you avoid loud music, you don't eat certain types of food, you don't look. But we didn't have TV in those days. But I remember when I was having my first son, and aunt was reminding me, and actually my husband and I made that decision. I can't remember how we remembered it, but we stopped looking at certain kinds of movies once we found out we were pregnant. We stopped eating certain kinds of foods. We stopped exposing ourselves to certain things deliberately, because we didn't want that influence on the child. And it really does have an impact on yourself, and your body produces those hormones that are in tune with harmony. Harmonic is the health regime.
Non-violence starts in the womb.
Non-violence starts in the womb.
That's next year's project. No, but so is it that if we want to deal with non-violence starting with we must also consider that very, very early stage of child development. That
Well, even before that, before you get pregnant, that's why we want to teach it to the children, so that it becomes part of them before they become, they decide, make a choice about having children. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone had their hand up.
Just have one question. You know, children are now I want, I want, I want. And in the concept of filling the bucket, which I understand, how can we as adults teach the children to disassociate from the I want, and to understand that and not to be selfish? Because in a non-violence world, that's the topic that comes up all the time, that we are selfish. So,
Well, children only want what parents are willing to give, huh? And in my experiences with parents, parents tell me about children only want to eat this, only want to do that. And I said, but who's buying it? Who brings it in the house? And if you want children to be raised a particular way, if you want them to have certain values, you need to expose them to those values. And if you want a child to eat a particular way, and you buy other kinds of food and stocking it up, any child with any sense would think that you bought that for me to eat. So when you're not watching, if you don't want to eat it, but it's in the house, when you're not watching, guess what they'll do? When we were growing up and our parents had things that we liked, whether it was the condensed milk or the crisp biscuits, we ate it when they were not watching. We ate all. And then she'd come and catch us, and you know, I remember my mother would just laugh and say, okay, well, we have no milk today and tomorrow they have to drink your tea just like that. But one of the things, even this morning I was working with a parent of a 4-year-old, and she's talking about what he likes to eat. And she said to me, now that I've explained to her what is it you saw, she's telling me now she has to find a hiding place. And I said, but why are you buying it? So a lot of the I want comes from parents' willingness to buy it. Because children can tell you they want it. But in a value system, you say, okay, I understand that. But let's think about if you really need it. Can you, and I always did this with my clients as well as my own children. I'd say, okay, so can you write down why you think you need it? And if you have that, how are we going to manage your use? So what rules you're going to write for yourself about it? And if we're thinking about it, how much money you're prepared to save towards that? Right? Because parents sometimes say to me, well, he saved his money, so I couldn't help it, he had to buy it. You know, so we have to put it in a value system for them to help them to understand why. So a simple thing like, it's coming to the end of the term. What would you like to get for your teacher? You know, a birthday's coming up. What would you like to get for your brother, sister, auntie, granny? As opposed to mom going to the store to buy it. That's how we teach children to consider other people before themselves. And then we get them to reconsider whether everything they see, they actually need. And if you don't need it, and we decide you want it, well, we can consider whether we can manage it. Not buy it and then we're worried about whether the child can manage it.
it sounds very much like teaching that everything has consequences.
Definitely.
And the whole thing of nonviolence starting with me has to be about understanding there are consequences to everything. And one of the aspects of consequences is that our thoughts, our attitudes, and our opinions are very much shaped. There are people who deny this, but having been in the media myself for quite a while, are shaped by the media. You can ask people their opinions, and you realize that those opinions are not really theirs. It's a result of something that they've read or seen on television. And you say to them, well, explain to me what that is. Why should I retaliate? Because that's how it is. And they can't explain why. It's just something that they've seen. So people often blame the media for the situation that is going on around us. Is that fair, Mr. Gibbons?
I think it would represent a gross misunderstanding of the function of the media and how media. Before I get into that,
Yes, please do.
because I can listen to you all day talking about it. Because it coincides so much with a lot of the work our organization has been doing in recent years, human rights oriented. But last year we published a handbook for Caribbean journalism covering children, particularly the rights of the child. One of the things that came across, and it was part of what you spoke about, is honoring, of course, the rights of the child. But in order to assure the well-being of the child, one would have had to recognize and honor and respect the rights of the mother, in particular, and women. So whereas we've focused a lot on the International Convention on the Rights of the Child, which if properly applied would run antithetical to a lot of what we're hearing in modern society today, then we cannot escape a discussion on the rights of the women who become the mothers, and by extension the families and the families in accordance with social status and so on. So you cannot at the same time ignore economic, social and cultural rights. And that's a sort of entry point that we use in the human rights community as for this kind of discussion. It's a rights-based approach, because when we attend to children in the way that you have spoken about, it's not as a matter of privilege or favor for the child. It's a matter of their right. Their right to be equipped to enter the education system, their right to exist, their right to be free from harm. As I say free from harm, we just segue into Daphne's concern about influence of media. The other unfortunate thing about looking at these issues in our societies, as I said, you would probably find that a lot of the training and the public discussion on these issues run against the grain of most of the best thinking on these matters. Okay? I could just throw one issue out, which is corporal punishment, for example. Right? So it's fashionable nowadays for us to look at the revenge approach to things, which would bring us back to the violence question, which I'm going to address in a minute. But if we look at the role of media in all of this, another thing that our societies in the Caribbean have not done is to apply more science to some of these assertions. In more sophisticated societies, when they look at these things very clinically, you'll find that whereas the persistence or the ubiquitous violence that's in media, video games and so on, clearly has some kind of influence on the behavior of children. But with respect to adults, what they basically do is to reinforce pre-existing orientations. So if there already exists an orientation towards violence, then what it would probably do is to reinforce that, and perhaps in some instances provide people with a methodology for applying this violence, whether it is through use of some kind of weapon or different thing. So it's not a linear thing of, oh, the media do this and that's why we are left with the mess we are in now. The other thing I want to say is that I'm really impressed by the approach of non-violence beginning with me, with the individual. Because one of the things that we advocate from a human rights perspective is a high level of personal responsibility, individual responsibility. And I use that approach to thinking about these things in the work that I do on freedom of expression. Because one of the views that I hold, for example, is that I am opposed to all forms of censorship. And I'm opposed to censorship because censorship suggests that there's a requirement for officialdom to apply some kind of external regime to influence the way we think about things and the way we interpret our world. Whereas perhaps a more beneficial project for our societies would be to build better men and women. We need to focus on from childhood come up, building better citizens. which we are not doing because we are in the revenge phase of development right now. People don't particularly want to hear about this. The prescription is corporal punishment, the death penalty, public castration, depending on what it is you're talking about, and that whole sort of prescription of violence as the way out. The thing about approaching from the standpoint of non-violence to also acknowledges that non-violence doesn't necessarily mean peace. I think if you have peace, there will be non-violence, but non-violence does not suggest the pervasive presence of peace, because peace, of course, is much. I'm not a philosopher by any means, but I don't see peace as merely the absence of violence. I think that peace is much more than that, and it is something that is deeply personal. It's something that we can internalize, and because we have internalized our view of the world and what is out there, that feeds into how we approach the world. When my son, and some of you who are the school parents would know my son, happens to be the greatest child in the world, by the way. When he was yet unborn, we did follow the thing about the music in particular. I like classical, so one of Rachmaninoff's concertos was played over and over. Well, Mikhailov plays about 7 different instruments. He did play some classical, but he veered off classical, and some of what he likes a little noisier than that. But the appreciation for music, in my view, has fed into a way of looking at the world that is much different from if he had not had this kind of appreciation for something that is not necessarily. He did not go through the video game phase voluntarily. It's not that there weren't aunts and uncles and so on who would say, hey, why don't you get this? They were there and they were in the house, but he preferred to pick up my guitar, which I used to do, which I played since. So that's my sort of opening statement. I think that with respect to media responsibility, there's no doubt that there's a shared responsibility by all segments in our society. In terms of the science of it, there's evidence that there is this very direct impact on the behavior of children, and therefore, because the children need to be protected, that approach is reflected in what we have published on this issue. But what we need to also look at are the other factors that go into this, the fact that the nutritional deficiencies within the home and immediately following birth and so on does have an impact. Those things do have an impact on behavior, but we can discuss that.
The thing about personal responsibilities is interesting. I was speaking to a lady who has 9 children, and she was telling the story about driving to work every day and making choices about what the children in the car would listen to. So when there was music and songs that were very violent and hostile, she changed the station. So the children at that point would argue with her, but everybody else is listening to that. So she made the point that, okay, you are growing up, this is my car, so it was censorship to some extent. What has happened though is that her children, who are now in their 20s and early 30s, a couple of them have gone together and formed NGOs working towards helping underprivileged people develop themselves as individuals. And they somehow relate that to how they grew up and their perception of their community as a result of their mother deciding that listening to violent lyrics all the time, sometimes it's okay, but all the time, was not a good idea. So from, again, a very early age, understanding and making choices about what you listen to and being personally responsible. Does anyone want to comment, or before we ask Sister Henrietta's personal experience, on what Wesley spoke about?
I want to support Leslie's theory. I remember very clearly when I felt the first flutter in my stomach, and I knew that the soul had entered the fetus. And from that moment on, I suppose until today, both my husband and I were so excited and overjoyed with so much love for this soul that is going to be born. We supported her with a lot of good wishes and pure feelings, but also I went and I did a course in art. And as a matter of fact, I got my first labor pain in example. Today she's a very good artist. She still continues to be very, very loving and attentive. And she continues to give that support not only to us, but the family. So it does work, the quality of love and support you give the child when it's in the womb.
I'd like to comment on the point Wesley talked about children's rights. What is interesting when we meet children who have been abused, who've gone through trauma, is that we have to work very hard to teach them about their rights, and teaching it from the point of view that they are not supposed to be neglected or abused. And for children that's very hard, because you're telling them that the person who did it was wrong, and often the person would have been a very close relative, somebody they trusted. And children by nature trust the adult to care for them. So they don't necessarily see the adult as a bad person. They often are confused about the behavior. When you separate them from the adult, it makes it worse, because they're now with strangers and they're not with the adult who has abused them. So they go through this very difficult transition of grieving the adult who has abused them, while you're trying to teach them about their rights, not as a right, but how they're supposed to be treated. And that is done through counseling, and it is also done through the environment that they're placed in. They're never told that the parent is a bad parent, and they're never told that. But as the children become aware of how they're supposed to be treated, because they're being treated like that in the environment, it is really very hard for them. Even though they will not say, admit that the parent has done anything to them, it's hard for them to then connect with that parent. So if that parent has been in counseling, and we think that that parent has a right to the child, because the child has a right to the parent, as long as they're not a danger to the child anymore, the goal is to reconnect the parent and the child. The child becomes aware, so this is how I'm supposed to be treated. Children start setting boundaries for the parent. I will only see you once a week. I'm not going to talk to you on the phone if I don't want to. Because they have come to understand that they're not supposed to be treated that way. So the work is really hard, because the parent needs help, and the child needs help, and then the parent needs to understand this child now knows how they're supposed to be treated, and they're asking you to respect that boundary. And that is an interesting experience to see. So that child might never admit, except the first time, to what the parent did. But they begin to set boundaries for that parent until they feel they can trust them again. So very often people don't understand this process is extremely difficult for both parent and child, because the parent is often in denial at the beginning.
not admitting that they have done whatever the abuse might be. This is emotional abuse as well, not just talking about sexual abuse, emotional, physical, and as Wesley said, neglect. And as the child experiences good care, it does something to the brain. The brain produces hormones. The children begin to thrive. Their facial features change. They look healthy. They smile more. They interact differently with people. So we're teaching them that they should not be treated with violence, and as a result, they do not exhibit violence. One young lady said to me, after a year and a half of counseling, she said, she was looking at the child and I'm seeing myself. That's how I used to be. I don't want to go there. I can never be like that. Because she can now be that person who's not violent. But she needed a lot of support to get to the point where she could acknowledge, I did not deserve that. And because I did not deserve that, I would not do it to other people. So very often people get frightened when we say we teach children about their rights. They get scared. But we need to teach the children so they can be different adults. And we need to teach the parents, and the rights of the mother is usually very important. Because sometimes the child is being abused, not by the mother, but the mother is afraid. So she's not saying anything or accepting.
I just want to add to what Marina said about rights of the child. I'm an educator, and at school we let the children know that they have rights, and we try to instill in them that they can exercise these rights. However, they have responsibilities that come with these rights, and some of these responsibilities are consequences of the choices that they make. Okay, so even from 5-year-old when they enter primary school, we instill in them that, okay, they have a voice, they have the rights, they can speak out, but there are ways in which to do it. Now, I had an experience just last week with a child, 6 years old, in second year class. We were speaking about things at home, education, and so on. And this child was telling me that a parent would beat her with, what she called it, a pallet stick. She said the thing that they make you roti with. And, right, she said a pallet stick. And she said that when she knows she did something wrong, she would take the pallet stick and go and hide under the bed with it. So the parent would not find it, and the parent would not beat her. So I said, well, what could you do? What could you do? She said, if mommy tell me that I do something wrong, I will understand. So the child knows that if she's told that she did something wrong, she would, but she knows that, okay, if you beat me with a pallet stick, I would feel good, mommy would feel good, because she said she knew how mommy loves her, because I asked her. But she would say that links with this pallet stick, as she called it. Right? So these children know that, okay, you could talk, conversation would work, even at that tender age. But sometimes the parents, I as a parent, sometimes, you shout at the children when they were small, but as parents, we need to be educated as well on how to treat with situations. So even though we teach the children that they have rights, to exercise these rights, sometimes they don't know how, because of the situations at home. Because in school we allow them to speak, to voice their opinions. We teach them, okay, you can make choices, but there are consequences to the choices that you make. You could do such, or you could do something else, but if you do so and so, these are the consequences, we do the other, these are the consequences. And we teach them to choose, because at a later stage, we always told them that when they go to secondary school, Anytime the choices they make, it is without guidance. So they have to know from a young age what the consequences are. So when they grow older and they make these choices, they can make wise choices. Right? I think that was one of the things that helped the children as they grow up. The choices that they make and the consequences, what it can lead to, the good and the bad, so that they will be able to choose.
The school day anecdote, because as you spoke there, I actually wrote about it in my column last week, but on a completely different issue. But when I was at secondary school, there was this guy in class, and he once told me that his father, who was a police officer, when he had to punish him for anything from going home with soiled clothes from school or whatever, but put him the meal on a grater and hold a brick over his head in the hot sun. He was the most violent human being I met throughout my school career. I was a victim of him. He went on to become a very senior police officer. And some years ago, I saw where he had been on a murder charge for shooting an unarmed homeless person. And that I could have traced that progression from a distance, knowing him as a young guy in school and given the experience he told me about. I really don't know. I was a little nervous about putting it out there because I'm sure he's still in the police. Or if he got, I don't know what his current situation is, but that to me, that was just a straight line, and you could have almost foretold from his violent behavior at school. But look at how our society is designed. It's designed in such a way that somebody like him can be going to the police service at a very senior level. I think he was superintendent or something like that. And as you spoke about the school environment, it feeds into the discussion that we have a lot among people in the media who are concerned about media performance. What are the other sources of communication that people listen to or pay attention to that have an influence on behavior? Because, as Garfield said, the media take a bad rap, a heavy rap for a lot of the wrongdoing in society. In some cases, there's some justification, but what are the other voices they're hearing? What are the other images they're seeing? Of course, at home, and as Marina said, not even physical in the home, go right up to the school, and it's good that that's the kind of approach adopted by your school, but you'll probably find that your school is not typical of all of other institutions, education institutions. You find that religious practice feeds into that as well. I've written time and again, because I know the Jamaica situation, that what you hear in the dance hall on a Friday night is simply what I've heard on a Sunday morning put a different way, where they talk about Born Batty Boy. In other words, it's acceptable to perform an act of violence against somebody whose sexual orientation you consider to be sinful. Because that's what they hear in the church in the morning, on a Sunday morning. That these people are violent, they need to be going to hell forever. And of course that message gets translated to different, manifests in different kinds of ways. So I think that you have to look at all these other sources in terms of what are our politicians saying, what are our opinion makers, opinion leaders saying that are feeding into this culture of violence and using force and violence as if that's a way of resolving, as if it's the only way of resolving conflict.
Yeah, the whole process of non-violence begins with me is actually revolutionary, because if people actually practice that in a real sense, they would have to go up against, for want of a better word, the system, because everything around us says that's a problem, knock it down. Even the language that we use, there's something known as non-violent communication. If you listen to how the average person talks to his or her friend, our language itself suggests violence, and we laugh at it, and we're giving it strength. The more we laugh at, oh, it's just a joke, but it's not. The words we use impact the way we think. The way we think impacts how we do. And our children are watching us all the time. I would like to ask Sister Hemrajan to suggest to us from her experience, professionally, as in Raja before 4 decades plus, how non-violence in a practical way, from inside out.
What I realized in my life, that I can say that I was a very violent person when I was a child. In that sense, not the sense that I will hit anybody or I do anything, but I used to feel very hurt for everything which happened around me, whether it's happening to me, whether it's happening to others, or whether whatever it was, and I used to feel very hurtful. And so I felt, that time I never realized anything, that I was doing wrong thing, because I felt that this is the way you're supposed to behave when you have situations of something. But as I went along with this journey of life, studying and things like that, I realized that I used to feel more anger with myself, not with others so much, but anger with myself. And I felt that it was affecting me, affecting my health also at a tender age. But when I came in contact with this Raj Yoga practice, and I was enlightened. First of all, we can say that I was enlightened who you are and how you have to deal with us. So I understand this word inside out. Inside out means that this is not a body which is acting, but it's something spiritual in this body acting through this body. So, and that spiritual energy is very peaceful, very loving, very happy, happy. So like this, I understand the basic quality of the soul. So if I had to interact with others, my first and final duty is that I interact with others with peace, with love. And through meditation, I was able to achieve certain level of peace while reacting with others or acting with others. And one day I realized, while the journey of my life was going on, I realized that hurting myself in no matter what circumstances is violence for myself, violence on myself. I felt that way. And I felt that this world, we cannot change the world. And I cannot change people around me, which is based on how I reacted in the past, how I'm reacting in the present. So I may not be able to change others, but let me start with myself. And I felt that there was one slogan which was given to us in our spiritual journey, and that was, do not give sorrow to others. Not you take sorrow from others. Do not give sorrow means it could be the thought, through the thought I think something bad about somebody. It could be verbal violence or sorrow, or it could be action, beating or whatever it is. So do not give this sorrow. And I realize that giving sorrow to others is based on something negative in me. Either the anger or either the greed or some desire or other desire is there in me, which is causing to give sorrow in thought, words and actions. So I said, okay, I had to work on this. I take the responsibility on working on this. But the more than that, what I felt was I want to work on it, is that when the people have this situation created through their negativity of anger, greed, attachment, and they create a situation, and I am in that situation. By chance I am in that situation. How I'm going to react? That is what I felt that I was work. It was a very, very deep realization in my mind one day when I was sitting in meditation. How I can renounce or how I can remain detached as observer, not absorbing, because we absorb so many things and we become violent on ourselves. So and then I started changing. One was through meditation, and second is I voluntarily changing and take the responsibility that whatever is taking place in my life, whether it is a thought level, whether it's a feeling level, whether it's food or whatever it is, I am responsible for that, or whatever choices I make, I am responsible for that. I cannot say I make choice because of my children, because of my brother, or because no matter who you make the excuse for it, or making a decision, or making the choices, but it is you who have to face the situation, consequences of whatever it is. So I hold on to 3 words. One was what I think, I am responsible. What I feel, I am responsible. Whether I feel happy or unhappy, hurt or good, I am responsible for that. And I am responsible for the choices which I make, no matter what it is. And since I get this realization, I feel that I take the responsibility of my own self. I am responsible. I stop blaming others that I'm hurting because of this, I'm hurting because this person hurt me, or that person hurt me. Instead of that, I started taking my own responsibility, because I'm in that situation. I have a mother, I have a father, I have a teacher, and they have their own personality, and because of their personality they creating the different situation, but it may not be possible, may not have been possible when I was a small child, as this speaker said, but when I become adult, I work, and so it was a lot of work, you can say a lot of work in the adult state, because when you are tender age, you can bend anywhere, but when you are adult, you have to work on this. And time I started working on this subject, that I take the responsibility of whatever is happening to me, I felt such a relief. Now I can say that I can forgive anybody, no matter what they have done to me, or whatever harm they have done to me, because there was no basis for me to forgive anybody, because I have been saying that you are responsible, you are the one who have done, so who am I going to forgive? The question is that who am I going to forgive? Only when I take the responsibility that whatever is happening, no matter what situation is there, then I felt that yes, I was not efficient enough, I was limited, I was weak, I was whatever was that, I could not handle the situation in a proper manner, and now I am ready to forgive myself and forgive others. And believe or not, it has helped me having the good health. Because before it is so much stress of this and so much stress of that, and so much hurt of this and so much hurt of that. But now I feel that by releasing myself in that level, I feel very healthy. Very healthy means my mind feels healthy, my body feels healthy, and greatest thing I'm enjoying is the good health. So I can forgive now. The basis of forgiveness has come because I've stopped blaming others for my. No. If I blame others, blame whole life, you can blame till the life will leave the body, breath leave the body. I can be doing, and then at that time I ask everybody to come, the family togetherness, and I say, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, I forgive you, I forgive you. That exercise doesn't work. So every moment we also make mistake. Every moment others also make mistake, and that is where we are not perfect. I was remembering the sermon which Pope gave recently, in which he said, at this present time nothing is perfect. Family life is not perfect. Children are nothing is perfect. And if we want to make everything perfect, we have to bring the forgiveness in between. And forgiveness is possible when we take the responsibility of whatever is happening to me, whatever is happening to others, whatever is happening to me, how I think, how I feel, and how I make the choice, and what I'm facing the consequences of the choice. Time you're responsible, you feel, you can forgive, and you can make your life release and free.
This reminded me of a column I wrote some time ago. It was headlined "The Missing Traffic Lights," and it had to do with a story about these guys who got in a very serious car crash. People died, and near the airport. I remember because somebody told me that they clipped it. I felt very honored about it because they're leading an organization that's focusing on personal responsibility. And I call it missing traffic lights because the way the story was phrased, it would appear as if what caused the accident was the fact that there were no traffic lights by this busy cross junction. And I said, but this has nothing to do with traffic lights. These are two guys who are driving very recklessly. They're breaking, most likely, they would have had to be breaking the speed limit. Not paying attention, there's probably some kind of substance abuse involved. And so why are we making excuses for the lack of personal responsibility by these people by saying or suggesting that the cause of the accidents was the accident was the absence of traffic lights? And of course, when you put it like that, you say, boy, the police again and the government and whoever, but no traffic lights. And then you escape addressing the whole issue of people being responsible for their own behavior. And then as journalists, I do journalism training too, I have encouraged them to move away from this thing about fellows driving on the road and he lost control of the car. What does that mean? It means that there's some kind of external force or whatever it is that took the car out of his control. But he's hands on the steering wheel and his foot on the accelerator. And when you put it like that, what you're basically doing is making excuses for the lack of responsibility by others. And that some people can mistake that for a certain level of empathy with people who might be victims, whatever, but you're not doing any good by doing that. That in part of this whole thing of personal responsibility is that the people around us need to be aware when they have reached the accepted guidelines for how they operate. In my organization, we promote ethical guidelines as opposed to governments imposing some kind of law. So there's social media, and so there's this big discussion, there's a huge discussion in the UK now about what is the state going to do about social media to control it. Well, in a kind of way, that is almost like the traffic light solution. Because the fact of the matter is that those kinds of prohibitions never worked. They cannot work with respect to what's online now. It is doomed to fail. And sometimes people who raise that point, I say, I wish you all the worst luck, because in the process, what you're going to be doing is stifling the expression of people who are valid views. And so that's the kind of approach, and it comes right back to what Sister is saying about personal responsibility. Are we prepared to invest in societies where we are building better men and women and citizens, and not a society in which people they will only do what is right or what they should be doing if there's some law to say that. So something happens and they say, well, what are the legislators going to do? What law do they need? And it turns the attention elsewhere as opposed to turning the attention on us.
Anybody would like to comment on Sister Amata's sharing of her experience of forgiveness?
Yes, Sister, I think what Sister said is quite true on personal responsibility. We always say that he made me angry. what she made me angry. When it's really, I allowed myself to get angry. And you know, no, that's important. If I would say when the 3 ways to deal with anger is when you it's called also knee-jerk reaction. You know, when somebody tells you something or hurts you to respond immediately. That's a knee-jerk reaction. So one of the things you can do is when you allowing yourself to get angry, is to look at yourself in the mirror. That's 1. 2, drink a glass of cold water. And 3, just walk away. But I think it all comes back to me, you know. I'm allowing myself to get angry. That's important.
So that's why in counseling we say use I feel angry as opposed to you make me angry. So you're having a discussion with someone. And I saw a perfect example the other day with a client in dealing with someone who they consider to be bullying them. Very nicely said, you know, that when certain things happen, I feel humiliated. I feel as if my voice is not being heard. I feel as if my thoughts are not valued. And that's exactly what we want. But it's not that I'm imposing, saying you have caused it, even though the person was responding to and it was a perfect episode of bullying. I was there, but the person was able to respond. I feel. It's how I feel when these things happen, as opposed to saying he does this to me, she does this to me. And that is something that as Sister said, really needs to be taught to children. When children have issues with each other, which they're bound to have, instead of us, because when we punish conflict between children, we are actually promoting violence, as opposed to saying, comforting the child who's been hurt, and then asking them how they feel. The child may say, I feel hurt, I'm upset, I'm sad, and then say, can you tell him that you feel that way? I feel so and so. I would like you to stop hitting me. I would like you to ask for a turn instead of taking my things away. So it really has to begin the personal ability to identify what you're feeling. And I teach children, I use a strategy similar to yours. So what are you feeling? I'm feeling anger coming on. I really want to hit them. I really want to throw something back at them. So notice the anger and take a deep breath. Take another deep breath if you need it. And then make a positive response. I teach them stop. S, stop. T, take some deep breaths. O, observe what you're feeling, observe the environment. And P, make a positive choice. So the choice will be how you express how you're feeling. And also, you always have a choice to decide how you want to respond. You always have some choices. You can choose to respond in anger and similar kind of behavior, or you can choose a peaceful response, a positive response. We always have that personal choice.
The interesting thing about the choices is to give ourselves the time, isn't it? Because, as the gentleman here was saying, so often there is this knee-jerk reaction, and that knee-jerk reaction comes because of anger. We're angry about ourselves because of something. So even if I want to try to have non-violence starting with me, if I'm angry about myself or something that I've done, it becomes very difficult to express that. Because that anger that I feel is usually manifest as violence towards someone else, whether it's through my actions or my words. So most of us need to give ourselves, all of us, need to give ourselves some time to be able to separate from what caused that. Because the causes we may not be able to change, but we certainly can change our responses to it. And we always have a choice. And when people say, I don't have a choice, what they're really meaning is, this is a very difficult choice. So I don't want to take it because it's really difficult. So it's much easier to say I don't have a choice, but you do. It's just that that one is a really, really difficult one. But we all have choices.
And it's also, I want to say quickly, sometimes the anger is not necessarily about the situation, but as you say, it's the anger from ways we've been treated, unresolved issues, frustration, and this just kind of triggers you. This is like the tip of the iceberg kind of thing.
Just want to add one thing to that knee-jerk reaction. I was told by my superior that when you get a negative email, don't hit the reply button immediately. Wait 24 hours, and you'll find your thoughts and the way you reply to that email is much different what will happen if you've done it quick. So it's important also. I mean, you wait 2 days, 48 hours, and it's even less. Whatever happened is just, it's okay.
Yeah, and some emails you might have to wait a few years before.
But all of this
You don't even feel to reply because you feel that the person must have going through some situation, and that person is not taking offended stage. You're not feeling that, but you're feeling that the person has expressed his feeling because of not telling me, but they're. So then you don't have to respond everything, but we get the internet is so big nowadays.
I was going to say that it's part of communication skills, not only how to respond, not the tenor of the response, but when to respond. And this is something that's to me is at the very center of the problem we face in terms of violence being seen as a first or second option in our society. The inability to communicate fear, anger, resentment, the need to get back. I think that is really at the center of it. If you, it's evident very much in early childhood education, where if there is an inability to properly express the emotion, then what happens is that the expression can manifest itself in many, many different ways. And I think it's the same with adults. And because we are physically bigger and we have access to weapons and we have this orientation towards a violent response or the use of force to change things around us, violence is increasingly becoming a first option or one of those early options to be considered, long before we consider that perhaps we need to communicate. And the communication not only being saying something, but the kind of intervention and when we say what we have to say, how we say what we have to say. And that thought process to me is very, I look a lot, I covered crime and courts and so long time ago, I haven't done it now, in recent time. And you see the kind of senseless violence that people resort to sometimes. And I like to look at people and try to read what is their real story. It must have some story there. And sometimes you look in their eyes and you look at them and you can see that for many of them, they've never really had, I'm not saying that okay, well, let them go, whatever, but they've never really had a break yet. They live in a society that does not give them a break. From childhood right up to adulthood, they don't have a break. There is no respect for their rights as human beings. There's no recognition of their right to selfhood, to think, to express themselves. Everything is in this, from the childhood environments they come up in, where you have a lot of children who are parents who don't have those parenting skills. They go into the school system and they're whipped. They come out of school and, most of the time they come out unsuccessfully, given the parameters that are set by the education system, considered to be. I know one school, for example, a secondary school, where the principal there has been doing it's a so-called high-risk school in a high-risk area. And the principal there, some of you might know what I'm talking about. We're not going to call her name. She's the principal of a school in a high-risk area, doing some excellent, excellent work. And what she's using to address those same issues of expression is by introducing music and dance and these things.
And yoga.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay. And that person was told by, I'm going to say this part, the Minister of Education recently, that given where you are teaching these children, the area that they come from, it's best to teach them woodworking and steelwork and mathematics. And so forget this dance and music and all that. Okay? So this tells you, and that is part of the break these children need. The children are born evil or with an instinct to destroy and to kill. A lot of it is taught. Of course, a lot of it happens through the predisposition of the mother and the environment, the physical, emotional, and nutritional environment. All of those things that form the environment. So these children, they need a break. They need space. And how do you create the space? At the home and at the school, in the workplace, in the broader society, those conditions do not exist. We are not interested in giving people a break. And we give people a break by respecting them. We do not respect people in this country. We do not. And there's an orientation in this country in terms of disrespecting people. I feel very strongly about it because it is at the root of a lot of the social ills in the society. And it's class oriented, there's an ethnic element to it, there's an economic element to it, there's a political feature of it, and there's this general sort of state of intellectual poverty, where the people who are making decisions and who are being paid to think about these things are thinking that the way you address these issues, you apply some kind of blueprint or some structure, rigid structure that people should be punished for not stepping out of. I think that if we start look at it that way, we'll address the true deficiencies in the society.
Clearly you feel very strongly about this, President. And I'm saying that because it seems to tie directly in to the fact that can we really be honest about nonviolence starting with me if I don't respect myself? It's not really possible, is it? And this lack of respect that Wesley is talking about, I think that we all know it, we all experience it. Does it not start with that if you cannot respect yourself, there's absolutely no way you can respect anyone else, and there's absolutely no way you can exercise non-violent actions from within. You can't do it.
You're not going to respect yourself if there's no sense of self-worth.
Right.
If you think you're nothing, okay, you're just fodder for a make-work program or for something that people consider to be marginal, you're not going to have the sense of value in yourself, and therefore self-respect is going to be absent. And as you say, if there is a lack of self-respect, then respect for others will not flow.
But that sense of self, that I am somebody, begins by the time the child is crossing the first year. So the child thinks they're an extension of the parent up to about a year to 15 months. And from the time they begin to realize that they can do things for themselves, or that they can experiment, they begin to move away from the mother. So the mother is an anchor, and the mother would be sitting here, they'd run down there, they watch it to see if she's watching, they run back up. They are experimenting, oh, I can do something without money. And then they get to the point where they tell you, no, you want your bottle? No. You want your bottle, eh? You need to, because if you take away the bottle, they're screaming. But what they're doing is experimenting when the brain has gotten to a level where they begin to realize, I have some power. So you get the no, and you get the avoidance when they don't really need avoidance. They're doing it because they've discovered it, but they have not yet understood it. And that's the reason why we need to be careful when we get upset with a child who says no, because they're playing the game. They don't understand it. They're playing with the game. Let's see what happens with no. And they learn that very quickly from us because we use no a lot. And then they play other games. So you try to toilet them and you put them on the toilet and then you on the floor. They're holding it back. They're playing with their power. Toileting is a power play. A lot of us don't get through with it with our children. If we started too early, especially if they're in the no stage, besides the fact that they may not be able to have their control, there's also the issue of this is mine, I'm not letting it go. Now they don't have it as conscious a level, it's more a neurological level. But this sense of self is so important. When I remember my first year of work, I had to interview students who were considered delinquents. They had been suspended from school, they had been at YTC, or they were considered to be violent. And Wesley's right, when you talk to these children, broke your heart. They have been treated with neglect, violence, for as long as they can remember. Not by the parent, by extended family members or whoever had to look after them. I remember one little boy I was seeing, he was 6 years old, and he missed the appointment for 2 weeks, and he came, both hands were broken. And I said, what's wrong with you? Oh, nothing, I just broke my hands. What were you doing? I was climbing up a plum tree. Now you know plum trees have skinny branches. Why you climbing the plum tree? The mother said, I tell him not to climb the plum tree. He said, climb the plum tree. She left him to climb the plum tree. And I said, but how did that feel? But that's nothing. I see gunshot wounds all the time. That's gunshots all the time. So in the scheme of things, breaking 2 hands is nothing compared to the fact that guns are being fired. So he's grown up living in a difficult environment, a violent environment, not experiencing physical violence, but experiencing a certain amount of parental neglect. Because on the hierarchy of things, safety is not something that he's used to. He could get shot any time, but he might get shot. If you understand what I mean, and you're 6 years old. So if I break my hand in the scheme of things, I'm still living. I haven't been shot. So what are we doing to his sense of self? So what is he going to, he has to learn to survive. So if somebody does something that gets into his boundaries, he's going to do what he has to do to survive. He was fortunate, he was rescued. A teacher rescued him and sponsored his counseling and his education. He's doing very well at secondary school because somebody felt that they wanted to save this child. And a teacher got some people together and the Rotary Club, and they paid for counseling. They got him remedial education. He was the last child in a family of 8, and he was the one, he's the one who is now the hero, the star, because somebody rescued the family. And there are people all around who are doing it in small amounts, like the principal. And when you say nonviolence begins with you, I made a decision a long time ago to donate to anything that school is doing. They don't know me, I do privately. But the reason for doing it is that I saw the efforts and I felt I should contribute to the efforts. So I used to do it through another teacher that I know, anonymously. So when you talk about nonviolence begins with me, it's exactly that you are a silent donator. You're a silent, the yoga teacher, I met through another occasion and I donated yoga mats so that the children can do the yoga because they don't have the money to buy their mats. So those are ways again that we can contribute. It begins with you. really begin to see little things like that we take for granted that makes a big difference in contributing to somebody else living about their sense of self and becoming a different person.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting. We are coming to the end of our discussion for this evening. So there's something I don't normally like to do, but I think that the discussion has gone in a few different directions, but continually seems to come back with this thing of personal responsibility. And personal responsibility, not just in an external sense, but in everything that I do. So I'm going to ask Marina, Wesley, and Sister Kamata, if there's one thing that you think you can do, and by extension others can do, one thing to encourage or to exemplify in a practical way how I can become non-violent. And then, because we have a couple of minutes, I'm going to ask at least five people, random people in this audience, what they are going to do to exercise non-violence in their lives. Random people. So, you don't know who you are yet. Or should I ask them first? And then come back? Yeah. So instead of me choosing, because you know I'm going to get people looking at me funny, why don't each of you choose? Just point at somebody random and let them say, and then, that would be nice. So I don't take all the heat. Marina, first
Yes.
Select something.
Yes, I'd like to select you to the right topic. Can you speak to that? Non-violence begins with you. One thing.
One thing that you think you can do. Not you can do. Let's rephrase that you will do.
While she's thinking about it, this gentleman in green should start thinking about his response.
That's true.
If it's go ahead.
Just like have more patience with everything and have more understanding towards others. And just like have more patience, like for instance, like while you're driving, don't try to corral somebody, just like let them be, and you just like relax and try to do your thing.
And live long.
Thank you. But before I say anything of what I will do, I just want to say that I've listened to the panelists. And Sister, what you have said has overcome everything that has been said here tonight. Because it is important as an individual, based on the basis of our discussions today, that non-violence clearly will have to come from you, the individual. And your actions is what is going to make the difference. Not the rules, not the laws, not everything else that is so external to where it's going to be stemmed from. I, as an individual, will pattern that sort of example, whereby I want to set the example for others, and based on my actions, I can see that that non-violence will stem and flow from the way I behave, the way I carry about myself, both for my family, in the workplace, and to the greater society.
Don't let go of the mic. No, that was a very good speech. It's beautiful. Just tell us what it is you're going to do.
Well, I am not a violent person.
One thing that you will change.
And that's a difficult thing.
Yes.
That's a difficult thing in terms of my own upbringing and the way I see things. One thing that I know that is lacking, however, is the level of spirituality. I am not that old, but I'm not that young. I understand the changes in life from the time I was a little boy till now. And to see how things have changed. And a spiritual foundation is critical. And that spiritual foundation seems to be lacking, it is lacking. So, I will encourage persons to tend to look forward and practice a level of spirituality, where I think that will be the foundation to propel persons to be nonviolent.
But what will you actually do? What you have said is fantastic. What will you do?
I'm going to say I will be the person, the nonviolent person that I will be, that will now exemplify what should be. I am not going to say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That is not what I'm going to do. I must be an example of nonviolence in order to make persons see the way forward.
Thank you. Sister, who will you select?
Although I know that there are only two choices, either I should be unhappy or happy, but I want to take the greater determination that I want to be happy in all circumstances. That is my action plan for this evening mission.
Well, that was you, but you have to select somebody.
I had to select somebody.
But you said you also, thanks very much.
Yeah, okay, so I thought I finished my job. Okay, Sister Savita.
Good evening. I would be very careful of my thoughts, so I would examine my thoughts carefully, because my thoughts determine my actions. If I have positive thoughts, I am going to respond positively. So I would look at the way I think. Thank you.
There was a lady there that had a microphone earlier on.
Yes,
I wanted to ask something, but
sorry.
Sound right.
I need to respond to what I would do. Or?
Yes.
Okay, well, what I would do is that I'll take nothing personally. Whatever anybody says to me, I'm going to be angry and I'm going to fuss, and it doesn't matter. So I take nothing personally in terms of that. But I wanted to ask Marina, regarding the remarks you made about these children who have all these emotional problems. I was so alarmed to hear that. I was just wondering in the school system, if the teachers are able to recognize these children and to take some kind of measures to ensure that it doesn't, they don't grow up with the problem all the time. And how can parents recognize that these children need some kind of professional intervention, a therapist to be able to help them? And how can the teachers, the education system recognize these children before they get to that violent stage?
Well, children usually get referred by teachers. Most of the try to come to me are referred by teachers. Teachers who've been into training college, who've done their BA, have been exposed to development and some emotional development. So they can recognize, and if they're not sure who to refer to, the first port of call is the guidance officer. But usually, most of the children I see are referred by teachers. To a large extent, teachers know, both in primary and secondary school, if they see certain behaviors that they can refer. I know we do get behaviors and we wonder why teachers don't refer, but they're in the minority. To a large extent, children are referred by teachers who recognize that there needs to be something. And some schools, although their guidance officers and social workers that are shared among the schools, many times children come to me and they may have seen the guidance officer. The guidance officer finds that they need
more individual care. Because within the school system, they can go in and chat to the guidance officer, but they often can't get the level of intervention they need, so they still need to see a specialist. Parents, more parents through our NGO Parenting PT, we've been doing education programs, and so more parents are accessing services and bringing their children. So a lot of children are being seen, a lot of parents are seeking help. Some parents still don't know, but one of the things we find is that we need to educate them so they be aware, because sometimes it's right there in front of them and they're not conscious of it. But that again has to do with their own stresses. Sometimes their resources, but a lot of the time their own stresses. Okay.
As you have the mic, Marina, you can also tell us what is the one thing you're going to do.
Well, the one thing I am going to do is to be more aware of myself. I am a caregiver, so I provide a lot of care to children and families. And so I absorb a lot of their stuff. So I do practice different ways, different types of meditation. I do spend a lot of time in prayer. But I want to be, one of the things I need to continue working on is to be aware of my own feelings so that I can recognize them and make more appropriate choices so that my responses, my reactions become responses. So it's not a knee-jerk reaction, it's a response.
Kind of reaction, it's a response. Professor Gibbons.
I suppose I can worry a lot less about things. I worry a lot. I worry about family, society, and I'm a committed citizen of this place. I have nowhere to go. I have no plans to go nowhere. I have a commitment to this place to try to make it a better place in my own little space and my profession. But I worry a lot. I think by worrying a lot, it's not a very peaceful kind of situation to be in. And therefore, I respond to things in an impatient way, an impatient and anxious way. So I think that would probably be good therapy for me.
Good, good. I suppose I should say something too. Well, contrary to popular belief, well, the thing that I'm going to work on about non-violence is, like Wesley, because of the kind of work that I do, I sometimes get very angry at what I class as not so much stupidity, but get very angry at people's inhumanity to each other. And what I need to work on more is to realize that my getting angry about it is actually contributing to the problem. So if it's with people that I know, or students that I'm teaching, or classes I'm conducting, and I see unfairness, I get angry at unfairness. I get angry when there's inequity, when there's people who are not respecting each other. So I need to firstly respect myself and respect their situation, because remember, people only answer questions or respond based on what they know. So it's not necessarily their fault. So it's a case they need to understand different things. When people have more knowledge and understanding, they act differently. Their behavior changes. So that's what I need to work on, to allow more understanding to flow through me. Yes. So as we wrap up, any one person wants to give their one thing before we get the vote of thanks from Vijay? Anyone wants to make?
I'll say one thing. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see. And I want to leave you with that because that is really non-violence begins with me. So I admire everybody for saying what they want to do. That in itself is such a brave step. So well done to everybody. But please take that motto, be the change that you want to see.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that more or less brings to a conclusion this panel discussion, and I know there's going to be a vote of thanks, but I personally would like to say thank you all for coming. It's your presence has made it what it has become. We all have so much to gain from each other, so thank you all very much for being here.
So, I must thank Mr. King for thanking us all. But I really want to say that I appreciate so much, so deeply, the contributions of the panelists, Ms. Marina, Mr. Gibbings. I feel that I have learned a lot, especially one sister said some alarming realizations about what happens in the development of a child and where violence can start from, even in the womb, so to speak, and all that is necessary for us to do. I really appreciate Mr. Gibbings' passion. I feel that it is great that our country has people like you, all of you, who are so concerned about what is happening. Sometimes in our private lives, we probably feel alone, and we read the newspaper, see what's happening in the media and in our neighborhood, and we get angry all by ourselves, privately. And so I appreciate that everybody came here, so many of you expressed your views, participated, shared with us. I want to say on behalf of Sister Himata that we, the Raj Yoga Center, we really wish to support ourselves first before we do our own meditation. And all of you, and especially responsible people like you, who are concerned about what is happening in the country and the world. And we will be happy to get involved in any other program that you might be having to share what we do and to participate in your involvement. Dr. I forgot the name. Dr. Tiwari, especially your participation and your contribution. The young lady who was taken all by surprise, and she promised to be more patient in the traffic. I think it was very brave of her to think about it and to give a good response. I appreciated your response also. But you seem like you could handle that. It wasn't a big thing. So I feel that the effort we have made, the Living Waters Association, for bringing the topic and getting us involved and getting us together. And so it gives you a little idea of the scope of things we are involved in. I think if you wanted to put it in a single word, the dignity of the human person and the development of that is what we are about. Our humanity. Thank you all very much, so much for coming.